Right now, as you watch this video, you're sitting somewhere on a small blue planet, orbiting an average star in one of hundreds of billions of galaxies. You might think you're unique, that this moment, this life, this reality is the only one that exists. But what if I told you that somewhere out there, beyond the edge of everything you've ever known, there might be another you, watching another version of this video, in another universe that's almost exactly like ours? What if you're not alone, not just on Earth, but in the entire multiverse? Welcome to a journey that will challenge everything you think you know about reality itself. And today we're diving into one of the most mind-bending questions in science. Could there be another universe out there that's just like ours? For most of human history, this question would have been purely philosophical, the stuff of ancient Greek thinkers and science fiction writers. But today, some of the world's most brilliant physicists are seriously considering the possibility that our universe might not be alone. We're talking about the multiverse, a concept that suggests our cosmos might be just one bubble in an infinite ocean of realities. Some of these realities might be completely alien to us, with different laws of physics, different dimensions, different possibilities. But here's where it gets really interesting. In an infinite multiverse, the laws of probability suggest that some of these universes might be remarkably similar to ours. In fact, they might be identical. So buckle up, because we're about to explore the cutting edge of cosmology, quantum mechanics, and human imagination. By the end of this journey, you might never look at reality the same way again. Before we can ask if there's another universe like ours, we need to understand what makes our universe special. What exactly defines the reality we live in? Our universe is defined by a specific set of rules, what physicists call the fundamental constants and laws of physics. Think of these as the universe's operating system. We have four fundamental forces that govern everything: gravity, which keeps your feet on the ground and planets in orbit; electromagnetism, which powers your phone and creates light; and the strong and weak nuclear forces, which hold atoms together and make the sun shine. But here's what's truly remarkable and a little unsettling. These forces have very specific strengths, and if any of them were even slightly different, our universe might be completely unrecognizable. If gravity were slightly stronger, stars would burn out before life could evolve. If it were weaker, stars and planets might never form at all. If the electromagnetic force had a different strength, atoms couldn't hold together to create the chemistry that makes life possible. This is called the fine-tuning problem. Our universe appears to be perfectly calibrated for complexity, chemistry, and ultimately, life. The odds of this happening by chance? Astronomically small. Now, this raises a profound question. Are we incredibly lucky to exist in such a perfect universe? Or are there so many universes out there that it was inevitable one of them would have the right conditions? This is where the multiverse comes in. And trust me, the theories are even stranger than you might imagine. There are actually several different ways that multiple universes could exist, each based on different areas of physics. Let's explore the three most compelling theories. The first theory comes from our understanding of the Big Bang. In the 1980s, physicist Alan Guth proposed that in the earliest moments after the Big Bang, space itself underwent a period of incredibly rapid expansion called cosmic inflation. Imagine space as the surface of a balloon being inflated at an enormous rate, but the inflation isn't perfectly uniform. Different regions might inflate at different rates, creating separate bubble universes. Each bubble would be a complete universe with its own space, time, and potentially its own physical laws. Our entire observable universe, everything we can see with our most powerful telescopes, would just be one tiny bubble in an infinite foam of universes. And here's the kicker. If there are infinite bubble universes, then somewhere out there should be bubbles with exactly the same physical constants as ours. In fact, there should be infinite copies of universes just like ours. The second theory comes from quantum mechanics, the strange science of the very small. You've probably heard of Schrödinger's famous cat, which is simultaneously alive and dead until observed. In the 1950s, physicist Hugh Everett proposed a radical solution to quantum weirdness. What if every possible outcome of every quantum event actually happens, but in separate parallel universes? Every time a quantum particle has multiple possible states, reality splits. One universe continues where the particle is spinning up, another where it's spinning down. Both are equally real, but they can never interact with each other. This means that right now, as quantum events occur in your brain and throughout the universe, reality is constantly branching into parallel worlds. There could be universes where you chose differently, where history unfolded differently, where the laws of physics are subtly different due to quantum variations. In this interpretation, there's not just another universe like ours. There are infinite versions of our universe, exploring every possible quantum pathway through time. The third theory comes from string theory, which suggests that the fundamental building blocks of reality aren't particles, but tiny vibrating strings. String theory requires extra dimensions beyond the three of space and one of time that we experience. These extra dimensions might be curled up so small we can't perceive them, or they might be vast expanses where entire universes exist as membranes, or brains. Imagine our entire universe as a two-dimensional sheet floating in a three-dimensional room. Other sheets, other universes, might be floating nearby, just a millimeter away in a dimension we can't access. These brain universes could have completely different physical laws, or some might be nearly identical to ours. They could even interact occasionally. Some physicists think the Big Bang might have been caused by colliding brains. So we have three completely different ways the multiverse could work. Bubble universes from inflation, quantum parallel worlds, and higher dimensional brains. But they all point to the same incredible possibility that somewhere out there, in ways we're only beginning to understand, there could be another universe exactly like ours. So we've seen that multiple universes are theoretically possible. But what are the chances that another universe could be truly like ours? This is where mathematics becomes almost mystical. In an infinite multiverse, every possible combination of events, every possible arrangement of matter, every possible set of physical laws, all of them exist somewhere. It's like the infinite library paradox. If you have infinite books with every possible combination of letters, most would be gibberish. But somewhere in that infinite library, you'd find not just every book ever written, but every book that could ever be written. Similarly, in an infinite multiverse, most universes would be chaotic, lifeless, unrecognizable. But scattered throughout this infinity would be universes that look exactly like ours. And I mean exactly like ours. Same continents, same mountains, same cities, same people, living the same lives, making the same choices. In fact, if the multiverse is truly infinite, there should be copies of our universe at every level of similarity. Some might be identical except for the position of a single atom. Others might differ only in that you wore a different shirt this morning. But here's where it gets really mind-bending. Physicists like Max Tegmark have calculated that if the observable universe has a finite number of possible quantum states, which it does, then the exact pattern of matter and energy in our universe must repeat. The numbers are staggering. Tegmark estimates that a perfect copy of our observable universe should exist about 10 to the power of 10 to the power of 29 meters away. That's a 1 followed by 10 billion 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 zeros. That distance is so large it's essentially meaningless to our human brains. But in an infinite multiverse, it's not just possible, it's inevitable. But it gets even stranger. If there are infinite copies of our universe, then there are infinite copies of you watching infinite copies of this video. Some of those copies are identical to you in every way. Others are making slightly different choices. Right now, in some universe not too different from ours, another version of you might be pausing this video to process what you just heard. In another, you might be skeptically shaking your head. In yet another, you might be frantically taking notes. The question isn't whether there's another universe like ours. If the theories are correct, the question is how many there are. And the answer might be infinitely many. But what does it mean if there are infinite copies of you living infinite variations of your life across the multiverse? This isn't just a physics question anymore. It strikes at the heart of what makes you, you. If there's another version of you making different choices right now, which one is the real you? Some philosophers argue that if infinite versions of you exist, then the concept of personal identity becomes meaningless. You're not unique. You're just one instance of a pattern that repeats endlessly across reality. But others suggest something even more profound. Maybe consciousness itself is the thread that connects all these versions. Maybe you're not just one person, but a multiversal being experiencing reality through infinite perspectives. Then, there's the question of free will. If every possible choice you could make is being made by some version of you somewhere in the multiverse, do your choices actually matter? In one universe, you might decide to pursue your dream career and find fulfillment. In another, you play it safe and wonder, what if? In yet another, you take a completely different path you never even considered in this reality. Some find this idea liberating. It means that every path not taken in your life is being explored by another version of you. No opportunity is truly lost, no dream truly abandoned. But others find it deeply unsettling. If infinite versions of you exist, experiencing every possible joy and suffering, what's the significance of your individual experience? Here's what I think. Even if there are infinite copies of you, this version, the one watching this video right now, is the only one you can experience. Your consciousness, your choices, your relationships, they matter because they're yours. The multiverse doesn't diminish the value of your life, it expands the significance of consciousness itself. You're not just a person on a planet. You might be one expression of a cosmic pattern of awareness that spans infinite realities. And if that's true, then consciousness, your consciousness, might be one of the most remarkable phenomena in all of existence. A way for the multiverse to experience itself, to know itself, one universe at a time. Think about that. If you're one of infinite versions experiencing one of infinite realities, you're not diminished by that infinity. You're part of something unimaginably grand. But let's step back from the philosophical implications and ask the crucial scientific question. Is any of this actually true? The honest answer is, we don't know. The multiverse remains one of the most hotly debated topics in physics, and scientists are deeply divided. Supporters like Alan Guth, Brian Greene, and Max Tegmark argue that multiverse theories naturally emerge from our best current physics. They're not wild speculations, they're logical consequences of inflation theory, quantum mechanics, and string theory. The mathematics works out, the theories are elegant, and they solve several puzzling problems, like why our universe appears so finely tuned for life. But critics raise serious concerns. How can you test a theory about universes you can never observe? Is the multiverse science, or is it philosophy dressed up in mathematical clothing? Nobel laureate David Gross has called multiverse theories quasi-scientific. The worry is that if you can't test a theory, it's not really science at all. But that might be changing. Some researchers are looking for subtle evidence that could support multiverse theories. For instance, if bubble universes occasionally collide, they might leave traces in the cosmic microwave background, the afterglow of the Big Bang. Some scientists claim to see hints of these cosmic bruises, though others dispute the findings. Quantum multiverse theories might be more testable. Some physicists are designing experiments to look for quantum interference between parallel worlds, though these experiments are at the very edge of our technological capabilities. The truth is, we may never have direct proof of other universes. By definition, if they exist, they're beyond our ability to observe or interact with them. But that doesn't necessarily make the theories wrong. There are many things in science we accept as real, even though we can't directly observe them, like the far side of a black hole or the interior of stars. What we can say is this: the universe is far stranger than our ancestors ever imagined. And if history is any guide, it's probably stranger than we currently imagine too. Whether or not other universes exist, the questions they raise about reality, consciousness, and our place in the cosmic order are profound. And they're pushing the boundaries of human knowledge in remarkable ways. So is there another universe like ours? The scientific answer is, possibly. The mathematics of inflation, quantum mechanics, and string theory all point toward the possibility of multiple universes. Some of these could be remarkably similar to ours, perhaps even identical. But here's what's truly remarkable. Even asking this question represents an incredible achievement of human curiosity and intelligence. We've gone from believing Earth was the center of everything to seriously considering that our entire universe might be just one of infinitely many. Whether or not other universes exist, the journey of exploring these ideas has already changed how we see ourselves and our place in reality. If there are other universes out there, some containing other versions of you living different lives, making different choices, experiencing different realities, well, that's simultaneously humbling and extraordinary. It means the story of consciousness, of intelligence, of beings capable of asking these profound questions might be playing out countless times across infinite realities. And you're part of that cosmic story. But remember, even if infinite versions of you exist, you're only experiencing this one. This moment, this life, this reality, it's yours. And in a multiverse of infinite possibilities, that makes it both precious and unique. So the next time you look up at the night sky, remember, you might not just be seeing the stars of one universe. You might be glimpsing the edge of an infinite multiverse where every possible story is being told, every possible dream is being lived. That's a question that might define the future of